Welcome back to Road to Fire. We're a family of four documenting our journey to FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Let's chat about the average savings account by age. I will share details on the current savings account balance by age, 3 steps we took to save cash fast, and I'll look into our savings account with all real numbers like always, so please hang with me. Today, the current savings rate in the U.S. is about 3.7%, and some studies have it as high as 4.5%. But according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, 3.7% it is as of 2020. And this looks at savings of disposable income, not gross or take-home, which may be even lower. I am very surprised by these numbers, and it's probably because I'm engrossed in the FI community where savings rates are 10x this number. But get this, the personal savings rate for Americans peaked in 2020 when U.S. households saved on average of over 15% of their income due to COVID. The spread of COVID limited the ability for all of us to go out and spend our money, which resulted in being able to save more than usual. But as we all know, things shifted back. But this was a light bulb moment for my husband and I. What this showed me is that if my husband and I could wrangle in our consumerism ways, we could increase our savings. During COVID, we started to build our savings because we finally could. We were forced to because of the circumstances, and we began to build money-saving habits that stayed. But before COVID, we were not living paycheck to paycheck per se, but we were saving less than we could, and we were not sticking to a consistent savings rate. We were investing, we had some cash in our bank accounts, but we didn't have a clear direction or clear target to focus on. We could have been doing much more when it came to savings. One of the biggest mistakes we made on our FI journey was not tracking our savings rate sooner and not understanding the value of cash in our total portfolio, not only for emergencies, but for security and a peace of mind. Savings helped us get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle and build a financial mindset that helped us truly begin our FI journey. So here's the average savings account balance by age according to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, with the most recent published data from 2020. Keep in mind that the median balance has a clearer picture of how much most U.S. households have saved, since the average figure can be skewed significantly by small amounts of outliers with higher account balances. The data includes savings, checkings, money markets, and call accounts, as well as prepaid debit cards. So for people 35 and under, the median saving balance is $5,400. For those 35 to 45, it's $7,500, which is our age group, birthday loading next month. For those 45 to 54 years old, the median saving account balance is $8,700. It drops down to $8,000 for those 55 to 65 and comes back up to about $13,400 for those 65 to 74. And for retirees older than 75, it is at about $10,000. Things to note. Older consumers have had more time to build, advance in their careers, and invest in their wealth. It's only natural that they would have higher median account balances than younger generations. But looking at these numbers, what we can't tell is how many months of security this is for people. 1 month can be $5,000 for someone, while $5,000 can be 2 months for another person. And in general, younger consumers are more likely to be hit by bank account fees, according to Bankrate. The study found that 46% of Gen Z and 42% of millennials pay monthly bank fees, compared with only 22% for Gen Xers and 14% on baby boomers. So how do you stack up against the average savings account balance in your age group? Comment below. So let's look at how the U.S. stacks up globally. The Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, tracks the household saving rates by country, and the latest data shows citizens in these countries have the highest saving rates. So Switzerland came in at 19.3%, Sweden at 13.3%, the Netherlands at 12.7%, and France and Denmark at about 11% respectively. These savings rates are almost 3 times that of those in America. Now, there are many factors in play here, such as taxes, income, healthcare, education, childcare, housing, and so forth. These comparisons are by no means apples to apples, as all these economic factors do play a role. But it's interesting to analyze what is seen as top savings rates globally. But what ways can you actually increase your savings rate today? Here are 3 things we did to help us save more. But first, let's understand the simple savings equation. So here is an example of a simple savings equation. Savings in sum is taking your income minus your expenses, and it equals your spread or potential savings. Now, your spread or potential savings should increase over time if you do the following. You can either focus on increasing your income while maintaining your expenses or decreasing your expenses to increase your overall potential savings. Now, the equation is making a big first assumption that after you pay your expenses, you still have enough left over to save or spend on anything you would like. I have to keep in mind that many people may still be struggling with this overall and finding ways just to meet their minimum expenses. For us, to start saving more, we initially focused on decreasing our expenses. This seemed like the easiest place to start and helped us to start building a spread between our income and expenses to inevitably save more. Once we finally hit our expense baseline, we then focused on increasing our income, which was phase 2 and what we focused on for the last 2.5 years. Okay, so here are 3 things we did to help us save more. The first is obvious. We cut our expenses, but we did it slowly. We didn't make any drastic changes like cutting our expenses by 50% in 1 month. We wanted the transition to be sustainable and gradual, but in the end, this helped us quote-unquote find more dollars in our budget. We focused on cutting 2 expenses a month or eliminate discretionary spending in areas that we didn't need. Some months we decreased 3 to 4 expenses and others it was just 1, but on average we eliminated about 2 key expenses over a year. Here are the list of things we eliminated. The biggest was getting rid of Amazon Prime. And you're probably thinking, well, that membership is just about $15 a month, but it wasn't the cost of the membership we eliminated, but the excessive shopping that went with it. We, or shall I say I, had an Amazon addiction and we used to live next to a DC, so items came same day all the time. Removing Prime helped mitigate and almost eliminate our Amazon spending. When we needed an item, we did it the old-fashioned way. We went to the store and we got it. I also found that many items we were buying were not necessarily the lowest cost on Amazon, as there are many resellers on that site. Another big expense we cut was food delivery services. We don't use DoorDash or Uber Eats or Grubhub at all. If we are doing takeout, we call the restaurant or use their online portal and we order from there. This has saved us a lot and helped us decrease our spending on takeout. The only time I may use a delivery service is on a work trip when it's expense to the company. Another expense we got rid of was getting rid of our LA Fitness membership. Now, I love the gym. I still love it and I miss it, but after COVID, I found pleasure in working out at home and working out alongside YouTube videos. Today, at our house, we have an elliptical, ropes, boxing bags, weights, weight machine, ab roller, and mats in our home. And for most of these items, we got them for free on Facebook Marketplace. Workout items are a pain to move with, so many people opt to leave them behind when they switch to a new home. That's when we swoop in and get it for free. I get my gym fixes on days I travel for work. I spend a good chunk of time in the gym when I'm there, but if we do move, I would like to get a treadmill one way or the other. I am always reviewing our budget to see where we can find cuts. Right now, I feel like we're in a good place, especially after eliminating all of these expenses here. Now, take your goals and make them tangible. The biggest mistake or problem I see with savings is the goal seems too big. I want to save $25,000, but how? What steps are needed to get there? I always find ways to break down our goals into small, almost tiny, digestible goals so it doesn't seem so daunting. Also, be realistic. I would love to save $100,000 in 1 year, but I know that isn't possible due to many factors, mainly our income. So we took our emergency fund goal and broke it down into the years and then into months to be able to make it more tangible. It's going to take us 4 years to get to our goal, and that's okay. We will take the measurable steps we outline and get there one way or another. We finally began to review our expenses during COVID. The hard truth about our expenses overall is that we were living to keep up with others. We were living in a large, trendy, hip city and wanted to keep our lifestyle to mimic those around us. We did what our coworkers did. We went out, we dined out all weekends. We spent and spent and spent to maintain an image that was keeping us broke. It's not easy, but we had to take a moment and check ourselves. During COVID, we had the time to do that, and it finally clicked for us. I know when talking about savings and building an emergency fund, we always think about the direct monetary options, like cutting our expenses or our income. We were not only reevaluating our expenses, but we reevaluated what we were consuming, watching, reading, listening to, putting in our minds, and who we were hanging out with as well. Did we surround ourselves with like-minded people, or were our friends also keeping us broke? We also reevaluated our time. Where or what were we spending our time on, and what was the cost, including opportunity costs, associated with these events? Sometimes these non-monetary sections outside of your budget can impact your spending as well, and we unfortunately learned that the hard way. So number 2, a great way to make your goals more tangible is to break them down. We opted to save daily versus monthly early in our savings journey. Now, we did this electronically, but I've seen this done with cash envelopes as well. Our first goal was to get $10,000 saved. At this time, we never had our savings higher than about $8,000 at the most, and that was usually due to bonuses. So we focused on saving about $27.32 a day for a year to help us to get to that $10,000 mark. I would simply transfer about $27 to our savings account from our checkings each day. Now, this was much less scarier mentally, a bit of money psychology here, than saving $833 a month. What this did was also curb our daily spending. That $27.32 would have gone to a quick Chipotle meal or a quick one to the dry cleaners for a shirt I didn't really need clean. Shifting the money prioritized savings. But if $10,000 is too much, start with $1,000 using the same concept. Save $2.73 a day for a year versus saving $83 a month. This is taking your overall goal and breaking it down into bite-sized steps. $1,000 might seem like a lot, but $2.73 a day is approachable. I'm not sure what we can get for $2.73 today, maybe gas or a lotto ticket or one item at the dollar store, but set a goal and try daily versus monthly shifts to help you reach it. Now, if daily is too much, focus on weekly. These small shifts helps us get into the habit of saving. Okay, number 3, we did no spend challenges. It's very simple. We allocated days where we wouldn't spend money at all. Now, there are exceptions. If there was an emergency or health issue that arose, like someone got sick and we needed baby Tylenol, then of course we would spend the money as needed. But a no-spend challenges allows you to restrict your non-essential spendings. I find these challenges to be very helpful when it comes to spending. Because first, it felt like a game. We had printouts and marked it up as we went. The first one we did was an odd day only challenge, where we only spent money on odd days. We did a no-spend month as well, where we only spent money on items we needed for that month. That meant no takeout, no new Nike Air Maxes, no new plants, or what other items we would have spent our money on that month. During COVID, we couldn't spend at the usual places. We couldn't go out to eat. We couldn't go to the movies or the bowling alley. We couldn't spend money on anything that was not deemed essential. The principle or the idea is the same for these no-spend challenges. Start with a set few days, then move into weeks, months, or even seasons, but find a block that works for you. Now, I've seen this done in a simple, tangible way, and I've seen it done in a very extreme way as well. Find the right balance that works for you. Our no-spend challenges helped us get the ball rolling on savings overall. So here's a look into our savings accounts with Capital One. Most of our money is in our emergency funds, but we do have a few other savings accounts. We have a small business account so I can easily track our business expenses. We then have an account for each child, and that's where we put their birthday or holiday money prior to sending it to their UTMA accounts. And then new this year is a bonus account. I put all of our bonus income here so I can track it easily, but it is also included in our total budget. Right now, Capital One has an APR of about 4.35%, and I'm wondering if it makes sense to move our money to another account with a higher rate, as I just noticed that even Vanguard has a cash account option with an even higher APR. The annoying thing is that all of our automatic transfers are already tied to these accounts, so change means rework on my end. And if you're new here, my goal is always to keep things simple. Also, there is this rhetoric in the market about rates dropping, so I might just wait it out for a bit. Anyways, we have ways to go to get to our account to that 1-year mark for our emergency fund, but we're happy with our progress so far. All the minor savings changes, challenges, and expense reviews is definitely paying off. But it took us a decade to build our emergency fund, to build our accounts to $50,000. Now, I'm not sure if 10 years is normal or not, but we finally got to a solid 6-month emergency fund. Cutting expenses, building tangible habits, and getting in the habit of spending less helped us reach our goals. But we didn't stop there. We did focus on one side of the equation, expenses, but shifted to the other side, income, soon after. Those two coupled together helped us expedite our savings goal. And honestly, I think income growth was the true catalyst. Today, I feel we hit our core or base expenses. I don't see us cutting out more or anything else without diminishing our current way of life. There is a balance, and I think we found that right balance. Right now, our savings rate is about 29%, and this month we're tracking towards 32%, which is exactly where we expected to be for the year. But I'm lucky to have a partner like my husband who has similar savings and spending habits. He just doesn't find joy in spending and is very frugal overall. He also is very handy and can fix or refurbish almost anything in our home. Having a partner with the similar or same money mindset also helped us reach our goals better. I wouldn't be here without him. Sometimes, almost all the time, it's the non-monetary choices and changes that will have the biggest, if not largest, impact on your financial journey. I know it's impacted our road to FIRE immensely. Now, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Until next time.